this game, across the interaction of different characters, is really, really smooth. So testing and resolving those issues that we come across is really important. So we don't want to just go and make the game, release it, you know, give players this really bad experience with bugs, some of them unrecoverable, right? We want to actually fix those things before we release it, even if it comes to a playtest, right? Because what I'm doing is I want to playtest this. I'm not going to be able to deliver on what I'm after if I don't fix the game as much as I can first. So that's the main thing of what we're doing here. Very, very important that we actually do that, and we spend the time to do that, and we get things right before we just go ahead and release it. With all these bugs, untested, game crashes, I mean, what a terrible experience. And then a lot of that sort of stuff can frustrate people, especially if they don't understand. They will get frustrated and they won't like the game, and that's going to be difficult to recover when people have had a bad experience with the game. So we need to test, we need to fix things. That's what we've been doing for the last few months with this, and primarily for the first phase, for playtest phase 1, that is, for this game, we are at a really good quality of game right now. So there's still some things to fix up. We've got to fix up, obviously, the Z order of all this, for example. We don't want anyone like we don't want anyone sort of standing on people like that. That's particularly minor in terms of functionality, though. So some bugs, particularly recoverable ones or ones you can work around, are to be expected in a playtest, and that's fine, and that can be understandable by the player. But when it comes to you know, showing people something, if you're going to show people something, in the sense of a release, that is, not necessarily before release, but in the sense of you know, a release, then we need to make sure that we're smoothing out everything we can. Is everything behaving as intended? If it's not, we need to spend some time fixing it. If it is, and everything's been tested, and we can't, and you know, we really can't see anything that's significantly an issue, we can go ahead and release it, and let the players, you know, enjoy what we know is currently good, and who knows, they might actually enjoy it as well. They might even pick up issues that you did not pick up either, which is very likely, right? And so, because we're not really, I mean, as developers, we don't play the game like a player plays the game. Players explores everything about the game, everything. They don't know anything about it. They explore everything about it. So they will run into things that we haven't run into things before, because we know how the game works. So we're interacting with the game with a biased knowledge of how things operate. So that's why multi-instance testing has taken a while, amongst the fact that I am doing this part-time at the moment, so or casually. But effectively, same sort of thing. The same quality result is achieved when we spend the time to fix things, and we get things right. And we, sometimes we backtrack. I mean, how many times during this whole development cycle here so far, for the playtest phase 1, that we've actually gone back and redesigned the call for help here, this window. We've done this about 3 times. 3 or 4 times. We've just got there. I said, right, we're going to need to do it this way. Oh, no, that doesn't work. Because of how I like to develop the game, there's a lot involved in this, so I'm trying to work out what works, what feels good. We've gone from a more interactive window, which was taking away from main gameplay, to more of a notification system, which does allow you to, pick things up and interact in a very minor state to this. So, and we're yet to make possible changes to that again as time goes on. But at the moment, this is what we've got. And not only that, instead of just icons, we've got things to explain what's going on with what we're receiving here from a remote location, because like the tooltips that I created here for all of these icons, what things mean when they flash in certain ways, and we do have something in plain English, so you can actually see what's going on as well just by glancing at it, what the actual message is, the ID, all that sort of stuff. So there's things there, and we've also tweaked this window a little bit so that it's actually at a size which is appropriate as much as possible, in the sense that it's not too big, it's not taking up too much of the game screen, but we can still move it around. We can still close it if we need to. We can still open it up again. So all these things. There's been a lot of design in this, and I may have put maybe too much in the first gameplay game testing phase. However, it is what we need for the first phase of game development here for Drainticity, because this game is going to be very, very involved, more involved than any other game that I've made. So we do have to take things slowly, we do have to take things carefully, and we do have to test things every time we introduce a feature or a small bunch of features, instead of introducing everything and then finding out that we've got a big mess on our hands and we can't fix it because it's too confusing. So yeah, that's the importance of what we're doing here.
I've been subbed to Only Lukes for an entire year.
Oh wow!
This is exclusive content, winking face.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate the resub, mate. How long have you been subbed for? You haven't got the channel badge, but you have.
I've been subbed to Only Lukes for an entire year. Love his exclusive content, winking face.
Thank you. 12 months of it. Whoa, dude. You've got to be the highest one on the sub list, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh shit. Was just a European yellow jacket. Bro, are you kidding? Bro, that's... Yeah, nah, I'll be freaking out, eh? What are you doing with a wasp in your bloody room? Bro, they're horrible. They're the worst ones. There. He's just walking all over the top of him. Right, so we actually do need to fix that. That's not something that should be happening. But it seems to happen, say for example, if a character is spawning after the injured Janty falls over, then they are effectively going to be walking above them. But we've had some graphical updates as well. I've received some pretty cool files here. Alright, so we're going to pick up this. We're going to send out the Smokey. So we have, you notice he's got a backpack, and we are now no longer pissing on the tree, which is great. It is just a hose that's being used here, which is really cool. It looks a lot better. It looks so much better. The angle's a bit strange, yes, but the idea is certainly there, presented a lot better with that. So we may make some additional tweaks a bit later, but right now that's pretty good. We've got that sorted for the moment. We need to do animations for the copper because we don't have any. We've added the animations for the copper, but the copper doesn't have. They're not really. They're not really working at the moment. They're just running forever. So what we had there was with this. As we are basically almost finished, we've been implementing some new animations with the characters, and we are also facing a fairly big internal change with how those animations are managed. They're going to be managed a lot more specifically, and it's because of the complexity that we have to do this. There are way too many. There are way too many animations just to have something like this in there. And I've thought about this a lot. I actually have thought about this quite a lot. Wow. Bendy started a fire on a fire immune object, so there was some things to do with that. They weren't really ignoring. There's a period of time which an object is like technically immune to fire while it does like a visual process, and shortly after that. So we just got characters to ignore, like managed to ignore starting, you know, fire directly on something that's already that's just been resolved, so they'll just ignore it. The real fix for fire spreading indicator was not displaying that. Well, this is a big one actually. We weren't showing. It was really hard to sort of understand where this problem was coming from, but it had to do with there's a certain ID that we have for every single fire that's like a unique one. So we create like unique IDs for certain things. All right, so for each order of the Jabber Alert call ID, we're going to set the loop index to the loop index of. We're going to store that as a variable inside there, and then we're also going to display that because we want to also show what the current call IID active is, because they're not matching, and that's why it's not executing that code. We want to see what's going on there.